funny? Off top. What the hell is so funny? It's not that funny.
Pretty funny.
I mean, it is pretty funny. Charlie is making it. So I'm in a bad mood, according to Charlie and Mina. And honestly, it's because I show up and Charlie's got on that same sweater. Play the music.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.
Welcome to the Domonique Foxworth Show. We're joined as we always are this time of week to do our good games, good bad games, and our sicko games with the great Mina Kimes. And Charlie has one sweater, Mina.
That's not true.
He has one sweater that he thinks is nice, and he puts it on once a week, and I'm frustrated by it because it's
I wear this sweater so infrequently because of every time. So the backstory of this, Mina, we had a live show in New York last fall, and Domonique was like, "Don't embarrass me. Buy yourself something nice. Don't look like." And so I went and bought this sweater. I was like, "You're gonna like it. It has a pattern on it."
No,
and the level of disappointment.
No, because you hyped it up. I don't remember what words you used, but he used a word like spice.
Adventurous.
You said it was like it's spicy.
This is me going out on a limb. They're trying something new.
I can't even see it.
It's just,
I don't even know. Like,
it's just
not in
blue.
My shot. I can't see either.
You can't see either.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I literally just see myself.
Oh,
that's tough. That's definitely tough. But yeah, it's a good sweater. Find a new slant. I will say, I might have hand up if this pod is bad. That's on me. I came in. I thought Domonique seemed cranky, and I've since gaslit him into actually being cranky.
Not cranky.
He was in
No
a
one's
fine
cranky.
mood before.
Please, Mina just wants to talk ball. Stop with your foolishness.
Oh, do you want to
talk ball?
We should talk about the survivor pool for a second because Mina, this morning I was so excited. I checked the Google Sheets and I was like, Mina lost last week. We're all tied after the two game penalty. And then I realized it was actually us that picked the Lions and you that picked the Bears. And you're actually back. Even when I try to cheat, We're not
counting that Bears win. They didn't deserve it.
That's fine by me. If you want to dock the Bears that win and give me
survival pool, but you have to win by a certain amount of points, and it has to be you have to cover the spread. Give me a break.
It can't be a once in a lifetime fluky onside kick, horrible tackling loss. It doesn't count. That's in the rule books. Everyone knows it.
I'm gonna count it.
I started to watch that game, and then I realized it was a complete waste of my time. I was like, all right, let me see what happened. I was saying, like when you see, I saw, okay, so this is a tangent, but you guys saw that new Kim Kardashian show is like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Am I the only person who, if I see something under 20%, I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to watch it now?
No, absolutely. That's a whole genre. Nick Cage has made a career off of that.
So anyways, that's how I felt about the Bears Bengals. It was like the 0% Rotten Tomatoes of football games. And I was kind of like, I'm a sick freak. Let me watch this. I was like, what am I learning about these teams watching these quarterbacks against these defenses? The Bears defense maybe is the bigger takeaway. Woof.
The Bengals defense, I think, is a good comparison to that Kim Kardashian show. And I think that probably people would want to say it's terrible because she's in it, but I watched it.
You watched it? You sicko.
I did. I watched like a half an episode, and my criticism of it is so pretentious that I won't share it here.
You're a TV writer. You can share it.
That's why. That's what makes the criticism so pretentious. Is I wrote on one TV show, and my first thought was, this writing kind of stinks.
Is that the issue with it? The writing? Because I saw a screenshot where they're all supposed to be like high-powered lawyers. She was wearing a suit that had a thong built into the suit.
Mina. I have no issue with none of that now. I know exactly what you're talking about. No issue. It wasn't just her. It's like Niecy Nash and like all the women in the show are lawyers who dress like the courtroom is on a beach.
It's one way to win. Okay, so these games. You want me to go first?
Yeah, I mean, you can go first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the Survivor League's over.
You're only up. You're up by 2 games. We got a lot of season left.
Lot of season left.
All right. My good game of the week is Pats Bucs. Great game, right? Because 2 really good teams, 2 teams, and the Pats, I think, are a team where, like, with the Bills went beating the Chiefs. I feel like suddenly it's like, okay, this is going to be a dogfight for the division. The Pats have the easier schedule down the stretch. This is not one of their easier games. Drake May has kind of passed every test that's been put in front of him. He had like all those easy defenses, And then he beat the Bills. Then he beat the Browns. The Bills now looks more impressive, right, in retrospect. And I kind of just want to see him go through every obstacle. I also want to see how the Bucs defend him. The way defenses have approached this Patriots offense has shifted as the passing attack has become more of a threat. The Bucs have a very good run defense, so the Pats would be advised to come out throwing. Drake May, I mentioned this on my pod, is the number 1 quarterback in football against the blitz right now. So I'm just excited to see that side of the ball. I mean, the other side is interesting too, but I'm really excited to see Drake May against what I, believe is still a very well-coached Tampa Bay defense.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely a measuring stick for both of these teams because, like you mentioned, aside from the Bills, the Pats hadn't had a great win, and this is a team that we think is pretty good. And I also think the Bucs had a early season run, and recently despite the fact they won last week, I think the last 2 weeks, and then they had a bye, their offense wasn't nearly as effective, and we'll see. I think there are a lot of at least for me, the concern in the passing attack without Mike Evans is still there. I know Mike Evans wasn't the greatest version of himself, but he's certainly a guy who's tough to cover in man coverage. And the same thing, which is different for the Pats, is not having Booty. I think that
he said he might play this week.
He said his hamstring is messed up though.
It was a grade 1 hamstring. He went on his Discord and posted a message basically saying it was a light grade 1 hamstring strain. It's not long term.
He has his own Discord?
Yes.
Wait, Kayshon Boutte has a Booty-specific Discord?
Yes, that's right.
And what is it about?
His hamstring injury? I don't know. I'm not
Booty talk.
Yeah, I don't exactly. I feel like if your name is Kayshon Boutte, your Discord should be focusing on that new show that Kim Kardashian has on Hulu.
What do his fans? Does he have a hive? Do they call themselves the big booty worshippers? He has so much potential with his name, by the way, for branding, for fantasy. I'm rooting for him to be good purely because of the name jokes that we can do.
This season's been a BBL for his career.
And he has been good this season. You're right. That works. But I think the thing that we've talked about a bunch for Drake May is his ability to attack deep down the field. And Kayshon Boutte has been the primary target on a lot of those big plays. He has been their big play threat. I mean, not that Diggs can't do it, but that's been a key to their offense, I think, is those big plays. So if it's a grade 1 hamstring, and he's still going to play, I think the issue still remains. And I think Demario Douglas has made some plays last week,
great last week,
big plays down the field. So we'll see. But I think this is a game that we're going to have feel a little bit better about what we know about these teams as we get close to the end of the season.
I will say this particular defense, it seems very clear to me you want to attack the linebackers in coverage. The DBs have been pretty good, right? And I think they've been pretty good against explosives. So while Bootie's absence is important, I do think for New England, the game plan, do not lean into the run too much because it's a very good run defense, short passes, middle of the field, and those are things that Drake May's really good at too. He's good at everything. What has Drake May been bad at this year? What is his weakness? As I was trying to think about that from Tampa's perspective, I ultimately came up with you got to get pressure without blitzing, which I think they're capable of. But when you watch Drake May this year, does anything jump out to you?
Yeah, I mean, the get pressure without blitzing is a universal thing. So I think that drives your point home is I can't think of the position that you want to get Drake May in. That's not just the general answer to position you want to get any quarterback in. It's the same with Mahomes is you'd want to be able to get pressure with 4 or get him in third and long situations. But I think to your point, he's developed into quite a quarterback, but the major criticism is against whom, right? That's the pushback now.
And they've had the 16th hardest strength of schedule, which actually surprised me when I saw that stat because you think it's one of the worst in the league, but it's graded out slightly different. Last night I was looking at Drake May stuff because I feel like every week we do this and it's how incredible Drake May has been. And I tried to compare the jump he's had in both efficiency and volume as a second-year starter to other quarterbacks in the last 30 years. And I expected the list. I mean, there were some obvious names, guys who become MVP candidates in their second year. Right. It's the low-hanging fruit of Peyton Manning and Lamar Jackson, who went from starter to superstar in year 2 from certain flawed things. But it's actually a slightly more mixed bag. His numbers are in line with that, but you also have the Derek Carrs. The second year of Nick Foles as a starter was the year he had 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. there were smaller incremental jumps. Like Josh Allen was considerably better, but he went from terrible to like kind of bad his second year.
He was year 3.
Yeah. So I was trying to find like where he would fall in that, and what he's doing this year. When you actually look at it, it's the closest comps really are that 1999 Peyton Manning season and what Lamar did when he was the unanimous MVP. I don't think he's playing at that level where the gap is the same as what Lamar's was, but this is still very rare, and it's hard to pick holes in it because this is something that's happened like 3 times in the last 25 years. Like someone gets this good this quick.
I think the thing that strikes me, sorry if you're not a Pats fan and you're just listening to us like, fawn over Drake May, I'm sure it's annoying, but he's so clearly the engine of it too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the skill players have been good, the pass protection is better, but, and I think Josh McDaniel has done a really good job coming up with individual game plans based on the defenses that they're playing and attacking their weaknesses, which is why I think he will do what we talked about. But like, you watch and it's just May, great decision, May, special throw, May, scrambling against man cover. It's just, he is obviously what makes it go. I mean, I don't think he is absolutely an MVP front runner in my mind. And I think I would be hard pressed to, I don't think you can make a case against it. I just don't.
Well, it's also like, it's like he was built in a lab for what we want from a modern quarterback, like escapability, the physical size, the ability to throw aggressively downfield. Like you talk about the thing that he's an engine of, it's because he's so accurate as a deep passer. Like he's helping create explosives from a group of players in the New England skill position guys that we did not think was going to be a team that was built around explosives. And like that's, even you're talking about like, this could be a great Diggs week where he attacks the middle of the field and sort of picks on some of those Bucs linebackers if he's able to create those mismatches. But like, the story of this has largely been his deep passing before that.
There have been a couple of like themes of the season and it kind of happens every year that jump out to me, and some of them like are sustained and some of them aren't. But one of the things that, for me at least, and I guess not even themes, it's just like pet issues that I pay attention to, and you mentioning attacking the middle of the field is one of them that's just been so obvious to me so far this season. Is it feels like it's a differentiating factor in some of the really good quarterbacks
and young quarterbacks, the young emerging ones, right. Particular,
like the ones who aren't able to attack the middle field. And I think it's a funny concept because we often talk about stretching the field from sideline to sideline. And of course, we then talk about stretching the field from the goal or from the line of scrimmage all the way to the deep pass to make you cover all of the field, which we don't often give much attention to, but it's just as valuable is a willingness to attack the middle of the field, because it's another like stretching point. And I think some of the quarterbacks that just aren't comfortable attacking, because it's confusing in there and it's scary in there. And also like height. I know you're going to bring that up, Charlie. Sometimes it's tougher to throw in that spot if you're a smaller quarterback.
No, I was going to bring up the person. I feel like this has been one of the things that's been like really confusing about the discourse about Jalen Hurts is like he's the quarterback that I think of who is so good and accurate outside the numbers, or like in big plays. Like he feels like there's always like a 4th and 1 where he hits AJ Brown like 20 yards down the field outside the numbers. But he's the quarterback that you look at and you're like, what do you wish he could do more of? And it's over the middle of the field, despite all of his playoff heroics. Anyway, I wasn't going to make the Bryce Young height joke or the Kyler.
You would have if we were just on a group chat and not.
Yeah, but I respect the sanctity of our good games.
All right, I'm up next. I got Ravens versus Vikings. All right, Ravens at Vikings. I think that particular game.
Do you actually think this is a good game, though?
It's the game that I've chosen because I'm really interested in it.
Interesting game.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting game, and it's good in that way. I think that's fair. And that was nice of you because I know what you're actually thinking is that it's not a good game.
This is the game I'm most excited to talk about, but I don't think it's a traditional good game.
Well, I mean, the most interesting part to me is at least the defense of the Ravens is how it's gotten better in the last few weeks. But I watched that Dolphins game expecting to have that point driven home, which they played good in that game defensively. But there are some issues that jumped out for me for this defense to see how they can be attacked at the non-Roquan linebacker position was a little concerning through the air in the running games. Just there's so many things about watching the linebacker position that I think aren't obvious at first glance. So like if you watch Roquan Smith play, you're like, he's good, but I don't actually see why he's good. You watch him play next to someone else and you see him recognizing that it's pass a half second quicker, or recognizing what direction the run is going a half second quicker, or his zone drops being more instinctive to where the quarterback is trying to attack. Like those type of things jumped out to me because it's in stark contrast with him right next to Buchanan, and it seemed like the Dolphins were attacking that spot. Of course, when they get you in third down, then it's Kyle Hamilton, and Kyle Hamilton, man, is he like there's nothing that he doesn't do well, which is kind of crazy. And the chess piece that he is, they've been putting him in the middle and letting him like blitz in a way that reminds me a little bit of how Micah Parsons is being used in those long yardage situations. But he's just been incredible.
This is a small digression on the Kyle Hamilton stuff, but can you imagine? I know he got picked a few picks later. He's on Mina Seahawks, but there were, talks about who would go first, Malachi Starks or Nicky Minwari. If the Ravens had two of them, two of these like freak gigantic safeties, so you could move around everywhere.
It gives him flexibility.
And I'm sure Starks will be a good player in the Ravens system, and he's emerging in his range and stuff. But sorry, I'd been thinking about that for the last few weeks. Carry on.
Yeah, I mean the Ravens defense isn't fixed.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh wow, this is a top 10 unit again. I do think the Dolphins offense is still quietly a tough challenge for like I had the same feeling, Domonique, and they ran the ball pretty well on them as well. But I think Mike McDaniel, it's funny because the the Vikings obviously have better weapons now, but in some ways I think Baltimore does match up better with them, right? Because the Vikings still can't really run the ball. I think Tua's quick release is more of a problem for the linebacker position than the way that JJ McCarthy plays thus far. So I'm not terribly worried. I am really interested in seeing how Brian Flores approaches Lamar Jackson on the other side of the ball, because he hasn't gone up. This is a new challenge. Right. And Lamar, last time he played the Vikings, I looked this up, was 2021. It was interesting. I think, you didn't do my pod this week. I'm sure you would have loved talking about Brian Flores' game plan for Jared Goff and all those, the cross dogs basically attacking the guards in the back. That doesn't work. Again, that's a Goff specific game plan. You do that to Lamar Jackson, you're just going to flush him outside the pocket.
Exactly.
But I say that, but defenses have had success containing and then sacking, meaning just bringing down Lamar at 0 or whatever. The Lions, the Chiefs both did, and I think the Vikings are going to borrow from some of that. So I view this as a Todd Monken in-game adjustments game are going to be massive for Baltimore. Can you find a way to run the ball on Minnesota? And if they do spy, which I think they will, can you attack that? That's something we really haven't seen from Baltimore this year. If you're going to ask a linebacker to have eyes on him or to show blitz and then drop out, are you able to attack that in a way that they haven't thus far?
And I think Todd Monk has been pretty good since he's been there with making in-game adjustments. I think that's one of the differentiating factors of how this offense took a leap when Monken stepped in. But I think the way that you attack Lamar in the past was to blitz him. He's addressed that. But I think, to your point, what the best way I would guess to attack Lamar, and it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's a flush and then corral, because it seems like rather you don't want to let him sit in the pocket, because then he has his choice, and even though he doesn't want to run, he can scramble there and he can pick you apart. You don't necessarily want to blitz him now because he's shown the ability to kill the blitz, but if you can do whatever initial pressure that you're doing that can flush him to one side or the other, force him to make a decision that you can anticipate, right? And get him outside of the pocket, which is a crazy thing to think of when you're approaching Lamar Jackson, that you would like him outside the pocket. I don't think you want to live that way, but I think in certain situations, if this blitz is going to affect him in this way, and you need to be there to address it, then you're better off.
Detroit did that a lot. I know it feels like a while ago, but they would show pressure and then the backer would pop out and keep eyes on him, and it was effective. So I think we're going to see Flores borrow from that a fair amount. And again, for Monkey, it's just, I keep going back to with Baltimore, but they're at their best when Lamar throws the ball quickly. It was just seeing him against Miami, the quick hitting play action, so accurate. they have good skill players. And there were moments where obviously he made plays outside of structure, like the shaking off of the Phillips and whatnot. But for the most part, like this offense should be an offense that plays quickly or where Lamar plays quickly. I think that's when they're at their best.
So I have to bring it up. JJ McCarthy. What do you guys expect him to do in this game? Obviously, the Ravens defense has been really inconsistent this year, but like people talked about the loud plays that he made, with the 9-yard touchdown run. That for somehow on video it felt like a 40-yard touchdown run. The throw to clinch the game, but it did feel like he had a better game than he actually had. When you look at after the first quarter, he's like 8 for 11 in the first quarter, and he was like 6 for 14 for 58 yards for the rest of the game. Do you have any what's a fair thing to expect? How do you think he'll actually play? Because I feel like he is still a complete mystery box from week to week.
And I think I expect the same thing that we've seen so far is like
moxie, guile.
No, I mean, if they manage to support him in a way that it's the story of his career so far, even back to college, is like he can make the big play. Like he can make the impressive throw in important situations. He can make the impressive scramble. If we get in a situation that they're asking the Vikings to win through JJ McCarthy picking apart a defense, like that's what I expect. If they're going to win, it's going to be again because they played great on defense and special teams, and JJ McCarthy made 5 important, significant difference-making throws. If you're asking him to make 10,
I don't really totally. So it's just like he has to be passable for most of the game, and then.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can design a game plan and a game can work out in a way where the pressure is not on the quarterback. That's what I see.
In the second half of the Lions game, he was 4 for 9 for 58 yards, right? It was obviously, I thought, he was awesome on those first 2 drives. The first drive, it was great to see him playing fast. It felt like Kevin O'Connell had the perfect game plan against the Lions defense, and then Lions made some adjustments, and it was more up and down, right? And I think that's kind of what we'll see. I think, like Domonique said, I think he has the arm talent and the athleticism to do enough in big moments. But as far as he's not going to be the engine of I keep saying the engine. The right now, the Vikings, to me, are not going to win games over the course of 4 quarters because of their quarterback, which is reasonable. He's like 20. It's just, it's a work in progress. I think if you're a Vikings fan, what you want to see is okay, cool. He was really, really good on that one drive, a couple drives. Give me half. Give me. You want to just see that the number of those drives increase, where it feels like, I don't think he's not. You're not expecting him to play super fast on every play over the course of an entire game and make the right decisions. I think you just want to see more and more every week. And there's an opportunity for him here. There's still weaknesses in this Ravens defense. The Ravens pass rush is still not good. They had a Draymond Jones. It'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table for them. But, this is a very gettable defense still in my mind. So I think, for me, it's really going to come down to the other side of the ball and Flores' game plan for Lamar. Because if they fall behind, you're going to get worried.
So JJ introduced us to his alter ego. He called himself 9, and 9 comes out on game day, and you can only be locked in for parts of the 3.5 hours. And he also talked about feeding the quote unquote the wolf. If he has a rough game and they win, he's going to say that the strength of the wolf is in the pack. He's gonna have a quote like that.
That would be a good quote. I'd be like, yeah, man.
That'd be
in the pack.
That would be an accurate quote, and it'd be better than the leave them open to less jokes than the current alter ego thing. Like, when I get the idea, and I'm sure it's true to some extent, but when are athletes gonna stop doing the alter ego thing? It's a thing that I don't know who's the first one to do. Is but when I step on the field, I turn into Mac Attack.
Yeah, Josh Norman had a cool one when he would do the Batman one, but that was when he was the alpha.
I guess I'm just saying as a concept, and I guess to your point, it only works if you're balling. So maybe this alter ego of 9 wouldn't make you laugh as much if he was dominating.
It's gonna be the thing about it too. Is it's he's got right now. It seems like He's the Charmander. We can Photoshop him on this.
What is
JJ
this?
McCarthy's Charmander.
This is
Jalen-
Pokemon.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts is Charmeleon. And Russell Wilson's Charizard when it comes to generic quotes.
Who is this for?
It's for me.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. What's your game?
So speaking of Jalen Hurts, I'm going to Monday Night Football. Yeah, Eagles-Packers. And, on paper, this should be an enjoyable game to watch. These are two really, really good football teams. I have a feeling this game is going to be a slog because it seems like the Packers play the level of whoever the competition is. And I trust the Eagles considerably more than I trust the Packers. I think it's fair to have questions about both of these teams' offenses. And if you were looking at this game, the Packers are without Tucker Kraft, which is a huge bummer. We all saw the video of Romeo Doubs saying that Tucker's in a better place now.
Weird.
Yeah, but come on, that was very sweet. And I would ask you guys, which offense do you think you'll have more questions answered about this week, the Eagles or the Packers?
I mean, I think the losing Tucker Kraft is huge. So we'll have an answer of how they expect to address that. I don't think the big question, and so that's the big question on one side. And that's undoubtedly going to get answered to some degree. On the other side, the big question is, can they go for a second week of Saquon's return?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the big one.
So those are the two big questions. And they're both going up against good defenses. So if you do have success doing these things against these opponents, I think it'll feel real and potentially sustainable. But yeah, I guess I have no idea which one to feel better about. Like,
Is this
I think
the least watchable, theoretically great
you
game?
It's a good game.
I'm excited about it. So
I'm excited about this game.
Charlie doesn't like these teams because they
Hate watching them.
because they're not fun to watch. But I actually am looking for this game. We've had this argument all day where he's been
Really?
acting like this game is not a game that we should be excited about.
I'm not
because
excited
God,
about
I'm
it.
so excited about
Yeah.
this game.
Thank you,
I think
Nina.
to answer your question, it's Green Bay because the Eagles, it feels like, I mean, obviously you want to see if they can build on what they did in the run game the last time we saw them. But Green Bay, you have to obviously see what the offense does without Kraft. And it feels to me as though Matt LaFleur still hasn't quite found his fastball this season, even though they're like statistically a great offense. They are the offenses are frustrating in different ways. But generally with Green Bay, I went on a rant on this on my pod about how it just feels like they're always playing for third down. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
They play like up and down to their competition, and it's a good team, so maybe they'll play up to it. But it doesn't feel like he's getting the best out of Jordan Love right now. With Philadelphia, so the defense, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, you have Jalen Phillips in the mix now, which helps the pass rush, and the Packers' offensive line has not been great. But they traded for Michael Carter. They're kicking Cooper DeJean to the outside, so the place to attack moves to the slot. So, right, it's just how it is with Philly. Who is not Cooper DeJean and Quenya Mitchell? Cool. It's not even Michael Carter shade. It's just is what it is. So I want to see this Green Bay Packers offense attack that weakness the way good offenses have. They put different players in the slot every time in Green Bay. So, it could be anyone. It could be Christian Watson, who was lined up there a fair amount. It could be Matthew Golden. It's not going to be Tucker Kraft. If they play that the way that they've played, which is like, some bad runs on early downs, dink and dunk passing, they will not beat this Eagles team. They have to have something of a transformation this week, I believe, to win this game. So I think we'll learn about whether they're capable of that, because conservatism is not the way to go against this defense.
That's interesting. I mean, I agree with you, but it also feels like you're always balancing. Matt LaFleur is balancing calling an aggressive game with a quarterback that he can't necessarily trust to be careful, right? So like that worst interception last week, not even the one that was dropped on fourth down, like the really bad interception was on a 1st and 10. And that stood out where it's like, we're going to call a shot play, but if it's not there, don't throw it. And he threw it up there anyway. And then I know that they're not good at running the ball, but I feel like it might have been you that I talked to about this a few weeks ago, that part of the reason, or it could have been Charlie, part of the reason why they do call it running plays is because they want to control the times when they're going to put Jordan Love in those situations. And so
there's care, and then there's a 5.7 yard average depth of target on first and second down, which is 29th, ahead of only the Dolphins, Browns, and Steelers.
I'd say Aaron Rodgers has to be last in that. I was like, that has to be.
That's not
the
right approach with this quarterback, even if, yes, I would argue until last week he's been pretty good with it, but I just don't think. Now, some of that is because they have a very yak-centric group with Kraft, but hey, gone. So I just think you got to see some evolution from. And the other thing, but Domonique, I mean, the Eagles are such a good tackling team.
Right.
Like, they're such a good screen defending team. It's not how you beat them.
I mean, I think you're right about the Jordan Love thing, and I had this conversation before, so it's probably unfair of me to say what I said about Jordan Love being the type of guy who throws into tough situations, but he has been that guy in the past, and he's kind of corrected it towards the end of last season and this season. But I think that it's also connected to the play calling, so we'll see how it goes going forward. But I mean, being more aggressive is never a problem or never a bad thing when you have a quarterback who's has much arm talent as Jordan Love, and leg talent, it's physical talent. So
theoretical talent.
It's not theoretical talent.
Good bad game. Mina, what's your good bad game?
Cardinals Seahawks.
This is a good game.
It probably is a good game. But there's a couple of things I'm interested in. Jacoby Brissett just ripped up the Dallas Cowboys. The Seahawks defense is not the Dallas Cowboys defense. Not that, but I will say Jacoby Brissett, he's been at least decent against better defenses than Dallas. So I don't think it's fair to say he's like a one-hit wonder. I just think this is going to be a good test for, should we pump the brakes on, how much better is this offense, right, with Brissett. And then on the other side, and I also think the Seahawks are, on paper, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a problem for them. They don't have anyone outside of Woolen with the size and speed and everything to handle him. But on the other side of the ball, for me, the story of Monday night rather, was the Cardinals defense. I thought they were excellent against Dallas, which is of course the better unit, and they were interesting. Like, you could tell Dak was a little bit confounded by what he was seeing downfield. I'm interested in seeing how they approach Sam Darnold and this offense, because they've really just annihilated teams playing the run aggressively when they've come out with those heavy bodies, and they've taken advantage of that. Cardinals aren't going to do that. I'm telling you right now. This defense is not going to fall for the okie doke. They are going to dare Seattle to run the ball. I really firmly believe that, which is something that the Seahawks have been bad at. So, unique challenge. I think, the Seahawks team has felt like a wagon, but this to me is a trickier defense than people think against this offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is another one of my pets so far this season, is like the man coverage that we've talked about before, and that's one of the things. Like, they didn't do a ridiculous amount of it, the Cardinals that is, but they are one of the teams that's one of the better teams at man coverage in the league, which I don't know that you would think that off the top. And I think that's going to be interesting because the Seahawks got weapons, man, and they got a quarterback who is playing, to your point, he's playing incredibly well without the support of a running game. And so I was asked I was doing Bomani's show early this morning, and he was putting Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold in the same category, which a lot of us have done that because they're like these reclamation quarterbacks. But the way that Sam Darnold is doing it this year is not the way that Sam Darnold is doing it is not the way that Daniel Jones is doing it this year. Like, he's doing it, I guess Daniel Jones is benefiting from an MVP caliber running back season. And that's not what Sam Darnold is getting right now. And he's still like one of the best teams as far as attacking downfield, and the support of the weapons that he has. I get it, but like,
well, it's also just
that Commanders game.
Oh, come on. Get it. You guys talked about the Bengals defense at the beginning of the show being like the worst. Like, Commanders can't be written off there.
I think the Commanders have the worst defense in football. I really do.
They have the worst defense I've ever seen.
Well, maybe, okay. But Domonique, to your point, the Cardinals are second in opposing QBR when they play man coverage behind only the Denver Broncos. It is really... They're really good on third down, too, so you really want to you got to win on early downs against this team.
Mina, I asked this question to Domonique on Sunday night. Do you think if the Seahawks had played the Commanders in that game and every set of downs they had to start at 1st and 25. Do you think they would have won the game?
Yeah,
I
I
do-
kind of do.
I do-
Yeah.
I think you guys
Commanders'
are
defense
you
is
guys,
so bad,
you
y'all.
guys are ridiculous.
Who's okay? Because dude, it feels like this year we have some uniquely awful defenses. It's fun, yeah, because everybody was like, "Wow, the Cowboys." I'm like, "Nah, the Cowboys aren't even bottom 2 for me. It's Cincy and Washington, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to know how that would. This actually has become more interesting than just about anything on this show to me. Is how are you differentiating? Because like I guess
because the Cowboys can do something well. They can rush the passer, and now they
okay,
can do
that's
even
got it.
better. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
okay.
actually have a quality. Like, what can the Bengals or Commanders do?
Yeah,
What's one thing
okay.
that they do well right now?
That makes sense. So then how do you differentiate between the Bengals and because in my mind, I just kind of group this the way that my brain works. Like, all right, these are the bad defenses. These are the really bad defenses. And I put them in a bucket and I can't like disentangle. If I had to get a stop, which one of these units would I pick?
I would take the Bengals over because the Commanders aren't just that bad. They're also so undisciplined.
Yeah, the undisciplined part. Yeah, I would definitely move on from Washington because of the discipline part. It's 2-3 blown coverages a week.
It's every time.
One of my friends does like analysis for Washington stuff, and he sends me stuff all the time. He was an offensive guy, so he sends me stuff like, "So what coverage is this?" I don't know, but they didn't teach him that. Whatever that is, that was not taught that way.
Statistically, it's the Bengals right now. I was just pulling up a bunch of stuff, but because I mean the Bengals got ripped up by Justin.
That's a tough scene. But to pull back to this game and the Darnold stuff, like I do think that what Darnold's done, I'm with you. I think it might be slightly more impressive than Daniel Jones because it's not supported by the running game. It is supported by JSN, and I also think they both. But I also think both of the reclamation stuff is like they're in stable organizations from being in like bad like that.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest thing of it.
Oh yeah. I wasn't trying to differentiate between them as far as why they're having success. I think it's pretty clear that they've gotten better, both of them, and also like
Well, it's also
they're being surrounded and supported by good coaches, good players, and support. But I don't know. I think oftentimes that running game is just so valuable, man, for a quarterback. And if you can get 2-3 explosive plays without even throwing the ball, without risking a turnover, like that's
the Seahawks right now, I think, have like a pretty long way to go on third down too. Hold on, let me put this because I remember I was looking that up because I was thinking about just like how do you beat Seattle right after Washington, and I think they're like average conversion distances. Yeah, this is crazy. Actually, the Seahawks defense is 22nd in distance to go on third down, which is not where all the good teams are. So and a lot of that is just they're so bad at running the ball on early downs. So the Eagles are 32nd, by the way, in distance to go on third down, but I think that's just the inability to run until last week was a big part of that.
He's gonna be fun with Darnold. Like Darnold's there will be a couple highlight plays of Darnold making ridiculous throws that we see from the all-22 angle to Shaheed as he roasts someone. Domonique, what's your good bad game?
My good bad game is Colts Falcons. Yeah, I mean it's obvious to me at least, or what's most interesting to me. I don't know that I would have had this game as high as I do or as much interest if it wasn't for the Sauce Gardner addition. I think that if when Travarius Ward comes back, if he can get to his top level, and I think Jones they have there at corner also. And I mean, I like Blackman also, but I just think that this group is so clearly preparing for a game against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I want to see how they look for the first time together, the flexibility that they'll get defensively by adding Sauce Gardner, because it was perfect timing because I watched what they did against DK Metcalf last week to see how they addressed that, to see how this would change, because Jalen Jones is a big corner, so he was comfortable in coverage against DK Metcalf. He wasn't bad. He did fine. I thought he did well, actually. But there were situations where there was 3-by-1, and they would set DK away, and he's the one, and the safety would lean over there. And I'm like, and then, of course, the Aaron Rodgers would attack the 3 side and have success. And that's what you may not have to do with Sauce Gardner. But anyway, I just want to see how it's look. It's not going to be perfect because it's the first time, and Sauce is comfortable in man and zone, a lot of cover 3, which I think he's going to see a lot of. But I just want to see how it looks because they're obviously loading up to be able to get past the Chiefs. To me,
Yeah, I think it's also it's not just like let's get talent and we have cornerbacks our issue. It's stylistic. To your point, I think Lou Anarumo wants corners who can press if he needs them to press. I went back and watched Sauce's last game, his reps against Ted McMillan, and he was pressing him most of that game and winning, right? And Ted's good. So, I mean, when Ward gets back, it's just like I love that they keep giving Anarumo ingredients, and I just love that approach in particular because I think this year, not to be like nerdy about it, but I just think it's more matchup oriented than any year because all the teams have like flaws in areas to attack. And after watching Buffalo against Kansas City, I came out of that thinking you got to be able to play man coverage against both of these teams. And now the Colts have that ability. But he's been really good in zone. He's been really, yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to watch this Colts defense. They've been fun to watch all year.
Yeah, I mean that's the first thing that popped in my mind when they made this trade was like obviously they're all in on this season. Why this player? Kansas City.
Yeah, it also seems like Daniel Jones extension, giving up first-round picks in the next 2 drafts.
But if you play zone against the Chiefs, Rashee Rice is just going to eat you
exactly. Which is that's why they went and got Sauce because he'll be comfortable in those situations, particularly against a big dude like Rashee Rice. Yeah, I was just looking at the conference to see who are the other teams that. Because, when you get to this level, you're often, and we talked about it a bunch last week with the Bills, it's like you're often building for one or two teams. Like that's who you're building your game plan for. And I had a hard time like seeing anyone else, any other reason, especially not in their division. Like it's just like we got him because we're making a run at the AFC champs. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting. I like it.
He told us today that his favorite color is blue.
Nice. Congratulations. You saw the little kid crying?
No, I just saw his press conference. He's like, I'm happy to be here. My favorite color is blue. He
supposedly gave his jersey to a Jets fan. So somebody posted a video of a dad telling his son that Sauce Gardner got traded. And of course,
who's making these videos? That's what whenever I see a video like with a kid crying and like something or like a football, I'm like, who's filming this?
It's the dad. It's like, I mean, I think they recognize.
He set up the camera.
Yeah, it was moving.
Oh, I've seen this video.
He was holding his phone.
He's like opening up the pantry, and the older kid, and then the younger kid starts crying.
Yeah. Charlie, would you have been like that? I would not have been. I didn't have a team. I mean, when I grew up in Baltimore, we didn't have a team when I was young enough to be that irrational. But
I've been a loser forever. Like I grew up with Gus Frerotte smashing his head into the wall.
So there was nobody that you could have traded to get you upset.
The hope was snuffed out of me. Like within.
I'm not going to ask Mina because I know the answer. I've watched the game with her and within the last 5 years, and I know she would, if young 9-year-old Mina, she would have lost her.
I'm not objecting to the kid losing. I'm objecting to the family explode. Okay, yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean it as judgment. I just don't need to ask you that question because I know I know you would have lost your. Yeah. You might this week if they traded away Leonard Williams.
Okay.
By the way, we should mention incredible aesthetic running back game. Jonathan Taylor and Bijan they better get that like drone footage over top cam of all the cuts and missed tackles because this is the game.
Is anybody appreciating the Jonathan Taylor touchdown celebration?
I love it.
It's great.
Like the floating one where he's like,
it's just like it's the right left right left.
Domonique, speaking of Jonathan Taylor and your boy Jeff, I texted Jeff Saturday a screenshot of the Steelers defense and just wrote "hand it off." I became a run the ball guy rewatching that game back.
Welcome.
All right, literally, it was like such a tasty defensive look, and he didn't hand it off, and I was just like,
Jeff loves you. He asked me what do I think Mina would think about this. I'm like, why don't you ask her? I think he's like, he's intimidated by your football acumen.
Stop it.
I'm telling you.
I literally was a screenshot. I was like, so that's my thing watching the Colts back. Like, I think they'll be fine. And everyone's freaking out because we saw old Daniel Jones come back. It was a bad game plan. I'm sure Steichen just wants that.
I mean, and also I think it's unfair to say old Daniel Jones came back. Of course, there were some things about it that weren't great. That offensive line that has been a strength of the Colts all season got destroyed.
Yeah.
Like no one would have played well behind that line.
No. I think it was just the look of it, like the blindside pressure. And he's just totally oblivious. And it's like, I know that guy. But again, like that, I think Steichen got a little drunk on the play action pass. And that's just moving forward. He has to recognize this is the quarterback I have. This is the offensive line I have. If teams are going to aggressively, play coverage against us or rush the passer, we got to just punish them for it on the ground. He knows that. They'll be fine.
My good bad game. I don't see. This is another. I pick these games like it's Steelers Chargers. These are teams with winning records. I have no interest in watching this football game. Like, absolutely none. Like, it's disgusting. I'm disgusted in myself. Yeah. It's like watching poor Justin Herbert. I mean, like, poor Justin Herbert. I'm 6'6" with a rocket arm, dating Maston Beer. But I feel bad for you because you're behind this offensive line with your 8th and 7th string offensive tackles, and you're playing a Steelers team who's going to dink and dunk. I mean, I looked it up. It was 3 yards. It was the average depth of target for Aaron Rodgers last week.
You know what, though? The Chargers defense has definitely regressed, but they are still a good tackling unit. They're still good against quick game. So they could give Pittsburgh... I think Pittsburgh's got to be able to run the football in this one, which they've been quietly a lot better at this season. The Chargers, man... the offensive line stuff makes it hard for me to take them seriously down the stretch. It just does. I don't know. Because
Mina can't even get excited about your game.
Yeah, because I'm not sold on the Steelers defense after one improved week. I still think you can run on them.
The most interesting part about this particular game to me is like I think the Steelers D-line will have another good week, and because they're going up against this O-line, and if they can build on that. But the funny thing is, this game to me, these teams I'm more interested in the impact that their record will have on other teams. Mm-hmm. It's like that.
About the Ravens winning the AFC North.
Yeah, essentially, it's all I care about. Yeah. And this is like, I think the Ravens, if their defense continues to get better, like they're a team that actually could knock off somebody in the playoffs or make a run. Are the Steelers going to keep them out of the playoffs? Are the Chargers going to be able to hold on long enough to make life difficult for either the Broncos or the Chiefs? Like, that's what I care about. The winner of this game makes a more interesting team. It's life a little bit more difficult, but we don't have to spend any more time on this because Charlie's checking his email.
No, I was texting, but
I know. I was just joking.
I'm so bad at checking my email. I used to be great at it. Now I got to get back to 0 in the Gmail inbox. Mina, I'm at 748 right now.
What am I at right now?
You're a great texter, though. I know Mina.
It's going to be like 6.
I guarantee that Mina, and I'm sure that if she got them, they came in the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's at 10, but 2 did come in the last hour. So.
What's wrong with you, Mina? Get it together. 10? I think
I'm good on. I can knock out a few of these today.
I'm good at getting my text to 0. I'm not good at getting my emails to 0.
Domonique saying I'm good at getting my texts to 0 is like somebody saying they're good at landscaping because they just take a flamethrower to the yard. He just writes back, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, all right, yeah. Boom. Wow, I responded to all my texts. No, you didn't.
The grass is gone, right? I took care of it.
I don't think you realize, like, Dominique's taken the second-year leap. His texting has gone like a Drake May leap.
Actually, we did have a great text conversation earlier this week, and he was a really good friend.
It's just to us? You just are good to responding to us when you're just
No, he had a good one.
Hey,
I'm looking at it right now.
I'm 9.
Pull this up.
I'm 9, man. When you need me, like most of the time,
you got to feed the wolf.
Most of the time, I just got to hand the ball off. And you ask me a question, okay, yes, give you what you want. If for whatever reason we got to have a show text conversation or something important is happening, I'm up in there.
You came through on Thursday, October 30th, when I was having a intense day on the internet. Here's how many texts Domonique sent me.
Oh, gosh. They don't need to know. Tell them keep them out of our business.
You sent me over 40 texts back that day. It was a conversation, to be clear.
Yeah,
I'm illustrating to say you are a really good friend at a moment when I needed a willing and able texter. So
he's a great friend.
You guys knew that?
Yeah.
This is weird. I don't like.
I knew he was a good friend. That's not what's for dispute here. The question is whether he's a good texter, which is very much debatable.
Yeah.
This is a known thing at ESPN, by the way. People talk about it all the time.
I like JJ McCarthy. I mean, I'm a loud texter.
We have
You're just clutch.
Yeah, it's clutch, baby.
Just got
I'll make
that
a big
clutch
text.
factor.
We are in
when you need it.
Dominique and I are in a 3-person text thread. Or group chat, I should say. Text thread. God, I'm old. A 3-person group chat. Dominique, not the worst texter in the group chat.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
And I think
Who's the
that
third
shaped my
person?
opinion. He's a producer on this show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Half
see,
of
I'm-
being a good producer is being a good texter.
Yeah, hands
I'm-
down.
Put that
I'm
out there
cra-
right now.
I
It's one of
keep
the
it
great things
cracking in
about
there.
Charlie. Charlie's really responsive and also direct, which I love.
I
He's
will
just
say
like,
this,
ooh.
though. You got to take the good with. You love direct? All of a sudden, we love direct texters. We don't like, we love.
There's a
I don't need
difference
no
between
fluff.
direct and being short. Those are two different things. Let's do the Survivor League. Okay, since
Okay,
it's
well,
already
can I do my
over. I've
sicko
already
sick-
won like a million
Well,
times.
what about my sicko game? I had to do
Alright.
the 2 games in. I can't even talk about Browns Jets where
Okay.
No,
Dominique.
no.
Well, just
We're-
one thing.
We're
Don't
not.
let
We're
him.
not
Don't
gonna.
let
We're
I
not
got
gonna.
one thing.
Okay, say your one thing.
Whoever loses this game, Dominique, can you imagine a worse building in the entire time you've been covering the NFL than whoever loses this football game? Because if the
Yeah.
Browns lose to the Jets, who have given away all of their players and are tanking in a way that feels like like an NBA style tanking, how do you go to work on Monday after losing this game?
Yep, it'll be
It's
pretty
tough.
sad.
It's tough.
Congratulations, Charlie. We got that one off.
You're the building guy.
I'm the building guy, but I don't care about these buildings.
All right. Well, you.
I could tell.
No,
I had to
This-
talk about Steelers Chargers.
This is
You
a
had to talk about Packers.
This is a really hard Survivor week, by the way. I'm looking at the
Alright,
all the
let's-
games are super close.
Well, Dominic gets to pick first. You got to pick first last week.
Oh, really? That worked out so well for us. All right, we got.
Damn shame we picked the Lions last week because they're going to win. They're going to beat the Commanders.
Yeah.
What do you think an accurate line would be for that game? 35?
No, it's not.
Like
a
if you
college
set
game.
the line at 35, I'd still bet the Lions.
All right. Have we chosen? You know, we should add a new wrinkle. That's what we need. A new wrinkle is I get to pick the game that Mina has to choose, and she gets to pick the game that I have to choose. Next week.
Next
That's-
season. Next season, maybe.
We gotta find a way to stop Mina. She's out of control. She's unbeatable. Every fantasy league that she's in, I hear people complaining about how she steals wins all the time, and we can't beat her at Survivor. We gotta find a
Can we
way to.
kill
I
knock her
lost
off.
to Jeff Darlington this week, and my Warham team is awful because literally it came down to the end, and I needed Jacoby Brissett to get 1 yard. 1 yard on Dallas. And he scrambled, and
You can't.
he was 1 yard short, and I
You
would have
can't
won.
lose. You can't lose to bottom Jeff. Only
know.
top Jeff.
Can
I know,
can I
that was a tough loss. Jeff barely even tries.
pitch a game to you, Dominique?
Pitch it.
We just picked the Seahawks over the Cardinals?
Got it.
Have you
Take
not picked the Seahawks yet?
No, we haven't picked the Seahawks. We've picked the Cardinals, Commanders, Packers, Chargers, Colts, Rams, Chiefs, Lions.
Hawks.
Mina, you've picked the Steelers, Rams, Bucks, Texans, Lions, Broncos, Patriots, Bears.
I appreciate you doing that, but it always just goes in.
Yeah, I
one
know.
ear,
I'm
out
just
the
gonna
other.
name teams.
Too
so you're
fast,
gonna
too
have to
fast,
tell me
too
how to
fast.
pick them.
Yeah, it's like
Okay,
I
wait.
didn't
So
look
okay.
at these games.
So I picked the Broncos. You said.
You've picked the Broncos.
Okay. Have I picked the Colts?
You have not picked the Colts.
Okay. Wait 1 second. Let me just scroll through this.
Playing
Have I taken the
Falcons.
Bills?
You have not taken the Bills.
Oh, going to Miami.
Yeah, I'll take the Bills over the Dolphins here.
Bills in
It's
Miami.
a tough
they
week,
might-
man. Look at these games like Steelers, Chargers, Eagles, Packers, Rams, Niners. Cardinals,
Should've picked the
Seahawks feels like a
Panthers over
trap
the
game
Saints.
too.
This is a chance to get the Panthers at
Get the
home against the
Thurs.
Saints. That
We can
would've-
switch it.
Bro,
I'm not supposed to
no.
be making picks.
The
No, 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 no.
Panthers are a.
Yeah, I agree.
Who the hell are they?
Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. I don't know.
just don't think you'll ever get another chance to pick the Panthers.
Just
I feel
dude,
good
say
about
what you
it.
go for.
No,
it.
I don't. I like
don't wanna
Seahawks.
be- okay.
I like
Try and
Seahawks.
trick me.
All right, Mina, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Charlie. This has been fun. I'm glad we had an awesome show because Charlie wore his party sweater. Thanks to all the great producers. Pop, I love you. We out.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.